This is Martha and Lucina's Shield Breaker. It's a move that has a really long startup and the uncharged version of it might come out fast-ish, but it doesn't do a lot of damage and barely has any knockback on top of not even breaking shields on its own. But if you think this move is bad, you're using it wrong, because the Shield Breaker is only good if you don't use it. Alright, today I'm gonna talk to you guys about my favorite move in all of Smash, the Shield Breaker, and why part of what makes it so good is using it as little as possible. Also, don't worry, I'm not gonna get all YouTuber with you guys and say things like, guys, Martha and Lucina's neutral B is kind of broken. Like, it's not broken, it's a good move, it's not their best move or anything like that by any means, but it is a really interesting move, and I want to talk about it. Okay, so there's more to this move than it breaks shields, alright? You get a fun push from it if you use it in the air. It's Martha and Lucina's strongest move in the sense that it does kill the earliest out of all their other attacks when it's fully charged. It's also our longest disjoint, though as much as I'd love to be the techiest Lucina out on YouTube for now, I'm just gonna get into the main thing, which is fully charged, it breaks full shields, and uncharged, it breaks slightly damaged shields. And by slightly damaged, I mean pretty much any aerial or tilt does enough shield damage for this faster and more realistic version of the move to do its thing, which is kind of insane. So that's some cool info, but at a glance, if you don't play these too often, you might still see this move and think it's like Falcon Punch or Byleth's down B or whatever and expect it to be like one of those moves you're never really supposed to go for unless you have a crazy read or you're winning by so much and you just want to see if you can get away with it. You might think this move straight up sucks, but it doesn't. You wanna know why this move is so secretly great? It gives these two a passive ability. Smash has passive abilities in a way. You're not supposed to press neutral B in order to be benefiting from it. All it has to do is exist. Excluding the Shield Breaker for a second, Martha and Lucina have a bunch of properties, good and bad, that inherently make opponents want to shield. They have great disjoints, making them harder to punish if they can space their hits well. They're really quick and they don't grab very often, because their grabs and throws are ass. They don't combo, they don't kill, and all they get from one is better positioning and occasionally an up throw kill if you're at like 200%. But that's fine, that was intentional. Martha and Lucina are characters that were designed with that trade-off in mind. We don't have the best grab game, but when everything else in our kit is really big, really safe, really quick, and really disjointed, having a kill throw or a combo throw on top of that would be too much, the same way Little Mac with a good recovery would be too much. Even so, this combination of attributes means one would assume that the counterplay when a Martha or Lucina is approaching them is to either have incredible footsies, out-disjoint them, camp them out with projectiles, or most commonly, pay attention, play defensively, shield, and punish. Because if you just shield everything they do, then what else can they do? Kill you off a grab?
Si desea salir del modo ciego, haga clic en las...
These two make you want to shield, and that's nothing really unique. There are a bunch of other characters with good shield pressure. But in this case, if you know the matchup, you need to be very careful about when you do it. Because if you get too comfy in that bubble, and it takes any hit from any aerial or tilt, every Martha and Lucina player is gonna pay attention to that, and you just can't shield anymore. Obviously, it's not like every time a Lucina hits your shield, she's gonna try to break it soon. Lucina has a bunch of things that she can do around your shield. They don't all revolve around the Shield Breaker, but the risk of the Shield Breaker is always there. Do we break another shield, I feel like? Maybe? This is why the GOOOO from Fortnite, man. This is why I play Lucina, even though I fucked it up here, and that's... For example, right, Young Link has a pretty nasty out of shield game. If you're playing as Chrom and you're pressuring his shield, he's definitely considering using his up B or Nair or up smash out of shield, on top of other more universal options like rolling away or spot dodging or whatever. A good Chrom will pay attention to what Young Link likes to do out of shield and punish accordingly. And in this case, Martha and Lucina are no different. They can do exactly what Chrom is doing here, but also, sometimes if you're sure and you know Young Link feels safe inside his shield, instead of punishing or scouting whatever he does when he drops it like other characters with good shield pressure would, you could just skip this step and break it right away. Obviously, you can't always do this, players adapt and learn all the time, but now your opponent is gonna shield on you a little bit less, which is the passive ability I mentioned earlier. You don't have to do anything except maybe give them a little scare with it, and the sheer existence of this move conditions people into being at least a little bit more scared to shield on you. So what do we gain from opponents shielding on you less? We gain a lot. Remember when I said that our grab game was kind of weak? Well, grabbing is the usual universal counterplay to shielding, but since we have have this move with us, people are gonna be shielding on us less and there will be less of a need to go for a grab. Whether you're fighting a good player or not, part of what makes this attack so good isn't the shield breaker itself, but the threat of the shield breaker. If you use it too much, it's not gonna break shields when you need it to, because your opponents are gonna start getting better at their footsies, they're gonna be getting out of the way, or they're gonna be dropping shields intentionally to take the hit instead of having it broken. When this move works, it's amazing, especially on Marth because you'll die at 20. But in the end, there are two main things that make this move good. It makes people shield on you less, and it punishes people who don't shield on you less. The thing is, you only get access to this if you're someone who's good at paying attention to your opponent's defensive habits and only use it when you know it's gonna work. And if you treat this move like just another one of your normals or some sort of Falcon Punch that breaks shields, you are missing out. Alright, so that is my favorite move in Smash. Disclaimer though, I won't act like this is Marth and Lucina's best move because it's not, and it's not like their entire game plan revolves completely around this move either. They have a lot of other strengths like their zoning or their speed or their ridiculous edge guarding, just to name a few, but I wanted to explore the shield breaker this time because it's super interesting to think about how if you press neutral B a lot, you might be missing out, and if you never press it, you might be using it a lot more than you think, right?